RCTV Studios offers quality summer programs for kids and teens. These programs are ideal for the budding actors and actresses of the world, as well as the future directors, sound engineers, and more. Students receive training on the most up-to-date studio equipment around, from high-definition cameras, chroma key, and Final Cut Pro, just to name a few. Workshops are available for kids and teens ages 10 to 17 and range from stop-motion animation to music videos, TV production, and filmmaking. For more information, visit www.rctv.org.
No.
Five, 4, 3, 2, go.
Good evening and welcome to the Candidate Forum on RCTV for the Select Board election that's coming up on Tuesday, May 14th. This is the special election to fill the empty seat that was vacated earlier this year. Our two candidates who are here this evening are Tara Gregory and Melissa Murphy. Welcome. My name is Kevin Vent, and I'm going to be the moderator of this forum this evening. Just so everybody is aware of the rules, each candidate is going to start with a 2-minute opening statement. Once we get into the questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. We will go back and forth between each candidate, one candidate getting to start a question, and then the other candidate will get to start the following question. There are 2 rebuttals that each candidate has available. All you have to do is indicate that you'd like to use a rebuttal. You have 1 minute for those rebuttals. Each candidate will also have a 2-minute closing statement when we are done with our questions, and that will go in the same order as the opening statements. We do have a timekeeper available who will show us when time is about to run out, and you've gone over that already. So if we're ready to begin, by a draw of lots, Tara Gregory is going to give us our first opening statement. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tara Gregory, and I'd like to thank RCTV and Mr. Kevin Vent for making this candidate forum possible. I work in public service as a fire protection engineer and will bring fresh eyes, energy, and extensive town government volunteer experience to the position. I work as a consultant for a small firm in Boston that specializes in building life safety and accessibility codes, and I often work with a variety of stakeholders while working within physical and financial constraints. I understand how to prioritize needs, and I can work collaboratively with others, even when conflict arises. I understand the impact that local government has on our daily lives, and I have a strong sense of civic duty. I would love the opportunity to continue my service to the town of Reading. Since my partner Andrew and I bought our house here several years ago, I've been actively involved in the community and in local government. I've enjoyed meeting so many wonderful and involved Reading neighbors and volunteers and being engaged on local important issues. I'm a town meeting member for Precinct 2. I'm a volunteer with Partners and Allies for an Inclusive Reading with the Office of Equity and Social Justice, and I'm a member of Cato, the Coalition of Us. I attend a variety of community meetings and events, including MBTA Communities Planning and upcoming projects with the Killam School and Senior Center. If elected, my priorities are civility in town affairs, fair taxes for residents, proactive and community-informed town infrastructure planning, and prioritizing greater accessibility for all residents and community members. We are a suburb of Boston, and we will be experiencing growth in the next 10 to 20 years. We should take this opportunity to plan thoughtful and intentional zoning and development to shape the community that we want to see. Reading is an amazing and unique town with significant projects on the horizon. Our neighbors deserve leaders who can come to the table with open minds, a collaborative approach, and a willingness to consider creative solutions. We are first and foremost neighbors. Let's work together to find a solution that works for our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tara. Melissa?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Melissa Murphy, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight. A little background about me. First and foremost, I'm proud to be a 16-year resident of Reading. I grew up in Malden and graduated from Northeastern University. I was a paralegal at a prominent Boston law firm for over 8 years. In 2012, I consciously decided to step back from my career and focus on my growing family. When the kids were little, I was involved in the Wood End PTO for 6 years, and I was also a member of their school council. I'm a 4-year town meeting member and a frequent observer of town boards and committees. Before we begin, I want to address some misinformation that has been circulating about me, and this is not directly at Tara. While I resisted jumping into the politically motivated slander, I am setting the record straight. I think setting the record straight is important. First, I do not and have never supported book banning. As a mother of 4, I advocate for appropriate book placement in our libraries and schools. Second, I was never against having a menorah on the common. I advocated against the town sponsoring all religious symbols on the town common. These stances are significantly different than being labeled a book banner or anti-Semitic. Unfortunately, these misconceptions have been spread to instill fear and divert your attention from the real issues that are addressing our town, like MBTA communities, water rates, and our roads. I am committed to addressing the needs of all Reading residents, and I will not go back down from those who spread malicious falsehoods to secure votes. I'm happy to finally put this to bed. As a select board candidate, my 6 priorities are to approach MBT communities cautiously, reassess tiered water rates, support residents and small business owners, and enhance services and support for all residents. I look forward to the challenging discussions and am dedicated to achieving the best outcome from our town. I would appreciate your vote on May 14th.
All right, thank you, Melissa. We'll move right into our questions, and the first question is directed towards Tara. Tara, the vacancy on the select board for which you were running was caused a lot of community frustration and board dysfunction. How do you propose to bring the board together and regain the community's trust and support?
Thank you. The select board is elected and entrusted by residents to do the town's business and abide by established rules and policies and set an example for our community. I would like to see the select board take a proactive role in community planning and anticipating potential issues rather than addressing them as they arise. I would help foster a culture of accountability and transparency so residents can have confidence that their elected officials are working in their best interests. I believe in good communication is important, and that it will continue to improve the town communication with the community. Communication is a two-way street, that the town is meant to inform residents, and residents are in to inform the town of their needs. I had the privilege of working with Jackie on several initiatives as they relate to PAIR and Cato, the Coalition of Us, and I have a great deal of respect for her and her service. I want to thank her for her service to the town and wish her well. While this investigation is closed, I hope that we can move together as a community and look to bring out the best of one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa, same question to you. How would you propose to bring the board together and regain the community's trust and support?
I think that residents are really frustrated with the behavior of some select board members and have a sense of uneasiness after the situation that surrounded Ms. McCarthy's unexpected resignation to the board. I believe that the board needs transparency, and I would have liked to see board members to step up and come forward with the truth. The investigation is closed now, but I think how I can bring the board together better is that I can work with all members of the board. I feel like I am able to have difficult discussions with anyone. I think we need to be very transparent with the residents of our town. And I want to look for ways that we can work together to show the town that we are a functioning body for the town and for the people of Reading. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Second question will be started with Melissa, and it's somewhat related. The position for which you both are running is for only 1 year. At this moment, if you were to be elected, do you anticipate or intend to run again for a full term in 2025? Melissa.
Absolutely, I do. I was very motivated to run this time. I ran last time and did lose by 8 votes, but that did not discourage me. And I had full intentions of running in 2025. Unfortunately, we are here a little sooner than I had expected. So yes, I have the full intentions of running again in 2025 with the support of my husband and my children.
All right, thank you. Tara, same question.
Thank you. I do intend to run in 2025. This is a one-stop. This is only just the beginning. I cannot wait to get more involved in my town.
All right, that's
Thank
that's
you.
fine. Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, and so the next question will be started by you, Tara. And the question is: several years ago, the Select Board created a small split tax rate to even out the impact of the Senior Tax Relief Program. In the past year, the board voted to increase that split. Do you believe a larger split in the tax rate is in the best interest of Reading? Why or why not?
Thank you. Right now, residents are struggling with high taxes, and in comparing Reading to neighboring communities, 18 of 23 of those communities have a higher commercial tax rate than Reading, and 5 of them have double that of Reading. The tax rate isn't the only way that we can support small businesses in town, and it's not the only reason that businesses leave in town. Personal or business circumstances may have changed, and they may relocate to a community with a higher tax rate. The Select Board should use the tax rate to let everybody's taxes go up at relatively the same rate. The current tax rate hurts residents, and it continues to get worse every year. Residents make up a majority of the taxpayers, and they are in charge of the overwhelming burden of the town expenses. Expanding the split tax rate is necessary to correct the long-standing imbalance that occurs when residential properties increase faster than the commercial values. I would support continuing a gradual expansion of the tax rate to slow the property tax increases for residents. And I would also support the senior tax break that offers tax relief by reducing property taxes for seniors. In reality, this program only helps about 200 of our 6,700 seniors, and I would look to expand this program as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Melissa, same question. Do you believe a larger split in the tax rate is in the best interest of Reading? Why or why not?
First, I was going to start with the senior tax relief. I fully support the senior tax relief. I actually have 2 family members that are seniors and live in town. Like Tara mentioned, it is only used by a small amount of seniors in town, and I would like to see that program get expanded. When it comes to the split tax rate for residential and commercial, one fact that I just learned is that over 200 cities and towns in Massachusetts do not have a split tax rate. We really have to see what our businesses can handle, and we only have a commercial base of 6.2%, which is pretty low. Businesses are already paying higher electrical rates, higher insurance rates, water rates, and they pay for their own trash. These increases in their taxes will affect residents, as whether it's through rent increase and business will have to increase their prices, or if they own it, they're going to have to increase their prices. The last thing I want to see is, our small bookstore, sandwich shop, or boutique shopping businesses be put out of businesses because the residents can no longer afford to shop there. So I think that we want to retain these businesses and support these businesses, and I'm not sure that expanding that split rate is the right move at this time. Just a small example, if we increase the ratio just to 1.2 between the two, an average resident bill would be $69 and a commercial bill would go up $941. If we jumped it to the max, which is 1.5%, an average resident's bill would go down $275, but that business would increase by $3,778.
All right, thank you. The next question is posed to you, Melissa, first.
Yes.
Do you believe Reading should pursue participation in the Community Preservation Act? Why or why not?
I did a video on this, but at this time, I don't think it's right for Reading. I think the goal of CPA is to be a tool to help communities preserve open space, historic sites, create affordability and housing, and develop outdoor recreational facilities. And with our 2 looming and unknown large debt exclusions, I just don't think CPA I don't think it's the right time for Reading to join CPA. That would be a 1 to 3% increase on residents' tax rates. Right now, the state is only matching 21%. At one time, it matched almost dollar for dollar. So at this time, I would be hesitant to bring this to our residents as another tax burden. I think we need to focus on the 2 large projects we have in front of us.
All right, thank you. Tara, same question. Should Reading pursue participation in the Community Preservation Act? Why or why not?
Thank you. I believe that we should pursue participation in the Community Preservation Act. This, as Melissa said, that this is a program that would help us enhance make housing more affordable and create some outdoor recreation spaces. This is a small tax that we get to set at our own determination, and it will give us access to funds previously not afforded to us, and it would help us supplement stuff that residents would be paying for anyways. I look forward to the CPA study that will be coming, that was set forth by the Select Board. I'd like to see what tax rates they think would benefit Reading the most. Thank you.
Can I use my one rebuttal?
Absolutely. Melissa, would you like to use your first rebuttal? Go ahead.
Just to point out, I think that it's hard to support a bigger split tax rate between the residential and the commercial, and also support CPA, because one of the reasons for the residential and commercial split is to say that the residents are saving money. But in the same time, if we add CPA, there will no longer be any savings. Any savings that a resident would gain from the increased split with our businesses, they would lose with CPA.
All right. Thank you. Next question will be started by Tara. The question is, what do you think may be the best option to propose to Reading taxpayers, a standalone senior center or a broader-based community center?
Thank you. 28% of Reading residents are seniors, and it is our fastest growing demographic in town. I've attended a number of the Reading First Center of Active Living Committee and Council on Aging meetings to get updates on the planned community center. I appreciate all the work that has gone through, all the work that has been done and that has gone through the planning stages for these facilities, and that accessibility is one of the primary concepts. The current Pleasant Street Center no longer meets the programmatic needs of our seniors, and it is in need of a renovation or a new facility. There are several exciting options that are being considered, including a new facility on Oakland Road or Simons Way, or renovating the Pleasant Street Center. I've heard from seniors that accessibility, maintaining proximity to the downtown, and enabling the facility to meet programmatic needs are top priorities for this project. I believe that this center should be a community-based one, that seniors are the primary users during the day, but that it is open to community members later in the evening, so that I would have the access to be able to use a gym and play basketball indoors, where I cannot do that right now. This is an investment that will benefit thousands of residents in the short, middle, and long term, and it's something that I enthusiastically support. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa, the same question. Would you support a standalone senior center or a broader-based community center?
I do think a broader-based community center is a better option, with giving the seniors priority use for their programs and services. I do like the area over in Simons Way for this. I think that area could be a great place to bring all communities to get community members together. So having a combination of a senior center and a community center, I guess is the best word for it, I think could be something that's appealing to more residents.
Okay, Thank you. Next question goes to Melissa first. The current plan is for town meeting to vote on MBTA community zoning compliance this coming November. What do you propose is the best way for Reading to comply with this law?
All right, so I did a video on this one too, but I've been following MBTA communities closely for some time now, and it's interesting to see communities like Milton, Marshfield, Wakefield, and Marblehead essentially push it back or in a lawsuit with the state. So I'm very interested to see what CPDC brings forward in our first community meeting, which I believe is going to be early summer. I think that, well, I'm hoping that one of the parts of their plan includes affordability. I think it is a mistake for Reading not to include affordability. Right now, we are under our 10% 40B requirement, and if we don't get there and then propose this plan, we are always going to be playing catch up. And between the new zoning laws of MBTA and then the increase of 40B requirements, we are going to change the entire landscape of our downtown area, especially the surrounding areas around the train station and Precinct 5. So I do think, I'm also hoping that CPDC presents a plan that is a minimum requirement
to satisfy the MBTA law. Mainly because we have these lawsuits that will be heard by the SJC, probably not until the end of the year. So if anything is overturned in the law, I want Reading to be able to have some wiggle room to maybe back off or change things if they can. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Tara, same question to you. What do you propose is the best way for Reading to comply with the MBTA's community law?
Thank you. I live in the heart of the proposed new zoning area, so I know that any of the proposed zoning changes are going to affect not only my neighborhood, but the entire community. It's important to understand that what the select board's role is in this process, which is limited. It's mostly left to the CPDC and town meeting. I recognize the concerns that residents have, and I greatly appreciate all the work that staff has done. Residents want to incentivize the small multifamily houses as opposed to the large-scale apartment buildings, and we should use both to ensure compliance with the state laws. The CPDC has stated that the priority of the district design is simple zoning that will meet the letter and the spirit of the law, and with enough wiggle room that in the design that even if the state invalidated part of it, we will remain in compliance. Thoughtful zoning will allow us to grow our commercial tax base and in turn lessen the tax burden on our residents and improve affordability and provide a new variety of businesses to frequent. I don't believe that we should follow the route of Milton, Marblehead, and other communities that are opposed to this law. At the base of it, this law is meant to provide more housing and make housing more affordable, which will help us in Reading. While we wait for the Supreme Court decision, we should still move ahead and plan to comply, and we can always adjust as needed with a change in the, if anything changes with the SJC decision. The Select Board can't control the state law, but what we can control is how and where we are building this new housing downtown. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next question is for Tara first. Do you believe that the new tiered water rate system is the best way to mitigate rising water rates in Reading? Why or why not?
Thank you. Last year, the Select Board voted on tiered water rates as part of a Massachusetts statewide goal of ensuring sustainable water use, promoting equitable distribution of costs among ratepayers, and protecting affordability of water as an essential need. The water rates are tiered, so every household pays the same low rate for the first X number of units, and then they pay another rate for the next Y number of units. There are 4 tiers total, and unfortunately, the initial rollout did not equitably address how the cost is assessed to multifamily homes and apartment buildings. This is just the first year that we're seeing it, and it needs to be massaged a little bit so that we can find the right rates that work for Reading. I support the town's efforts for water conservation and to improve cost savings, and I would propose revisiting the tiers to address the increased rates paid by multifamily homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa, same question to you. Do you believe that the new tiered water rate system is the best way to mitigate rising water rates in Reading? Why or why not?
I definitely think the new system needs to be revisited. The top 2 tiers alone were penalized 5 to 10% in their rates from last year to this year. I think there's talk that conservation is one of the reasons the tiered system is being used, but right now, the way it's set up in Reading, all multi-family or multi-unit buildings, those residents have no obligation for conservation, considering they're pretty much always on tier 4. Actually, residents in those buildings, 84.6% of residents in those buildings are paying tier 4 prices because they only have a single water meter. So I think if we are going to keep the 5 to 10% for the top 2 tiers, I think I would really encourage us to look into second water meters to help mitigate some of the costs for people. And we also have to remember the group of people that we really haven't focused on and are paying the most are 20% of the residents that live in these multi-unit buildings, and they are usually our seniors, young families, in low income, and they're the group that we are usually concerned about pushing out of town, and so we really have to resolve this issue. There was a consultant at the Select Board meeting on Tuesday night mentioning that the difference wouldn't be that significant. I don't think the residents felt that way with him. They did do a study, but it was only done at Postmark, and I think the study needs to be extended to Reading Woods, Gazebo Circle, and maybe even the Met, just to see what those rates really will look like if we can find a solution to bill each unit appropriately. I did support Mr. Zeke's instructional motion that was done in November of town meeting, and I actually feel like most town meeting members voted yes on that, and we still have not resolved that issue. So that's something that needs to be looked at.
All right, thank you. Next question is directed towards Melissa first. Should the current volunteer appointment subcommittee method of screening applicants for boards and committees be reverted back to the former system, having the entire board interview candidates?
Ooh, okay. I think that so the current volunteer, I actually like the idea of the entire board interviewing candidates instead of just a subcommittee doing it. I think for the 5-person select board group to interview candidates together would give everyone a little bit of information. I feel like the members on the board are very different and they probably look for different things. So I actually would like to go back to a whole board committee when trying to get volunteers to join. I do want to say we have to be very appreciative of all the people that step up to volunteer in our town, because it can be a thankless job sometimes. So I really appreciate those that step up and take the time to invest in our community.
All right, thank you. Tara, same question to you. Should the current volunteer appointment subcommittee method of screening applicants for boards and committees be reverted back to the former system of having the entire board, the entire select board, interview candidates?
Thank you. I believe that we should keep the current system that we have with the smaller subcommittee, because I feel that it's easier to manage schedules that way. When you expand it to try and get more people, you have difficulty trying to meet with regularity and ensuring that our boards are being filled as they needed. I myself applied to be on several different boards back in November, and I have yet to hear back. I feel like there are people out there willing and ready to volunteer. We just need to make sure that that we are meeting regularly to get those appointments filled. I would be very grateful to all the town staff and all volunteers that we have in town. Volunteers are what make our community run, and that is the whole backbone of our local government. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Tara, the next question is directed to you first, and that is, what are your thoughts as to where pickleball courts should go in Reading?
Thank you. Pickleball has been a hot topic in town. A lot of people, it has become a great sport for everybody from kids to seniors. I think that the best place for the pickleball courts in town would probably be along the Simons Way, as it would create the least amount of noise for abutters, and it would allow users to be able to exercise freely without having to worry about the noise caused to abutters. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Melissa, where would you like to see pickleball courts go in Reading?
I know some people have been very disappointed that the pickleball courts have not been up and running yet, and they have not found a solution. But I think we did the right thing. We took our time. We thought about the surrounding residents. We thought about the right location. We do not want to be in a situation like Wellesley where they're in a lawsuit with residents and the town. So I agree. I actually think Simons Way is the perfect place for them, and I am very hopeful that that will happen sometime in the near future.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next question with Melissa, and that is, what ideas do you have to encourage development along the South Main Street corridor?
Oh, my ideas. Okay. I think one of the biggest things I want to see happen, and I know that they were talking about it at the last select board meeting, is hiring an economic development director that is looking to stay in Reading for the long term. I think we need someone that is looking, so they can plan accordingly. We can space out the projects and systematically make a long-term plan for that area. I think, unfortunately, we've had people that have been here for short times, and I'm not sure that has helped any of our growth and development. So I think the biggest thing is if we can get someone in that position that is looking to stay in Reading, and devote their time to Reading, it would make a huge difference.
Thank you. Tara, what are your ideas about encouraging development along the South Main Street corridor?
Thank you. I really enjoy all of the small businesses that we have downtown. I make a point to frequent them often. One of the biggest struggles that small businesses have in town is getting people in the door. The select board can support small businesses in other ways aside from the split tax rate by putting an emphasis on communication with businesses to better communicate street closures and interruptions to business, and supporting alternative ways to get downtown by promoting safe walkways and bike paths and public transit to offer alternative ways to get downtown and open up parking spaces for other people who need to park downtown. I also support the different events that we tend to hold, the beer garden, the Winterfest, the Fall Street Fair, that bring a lot of foot traffic to businesses and restaurants on Main Street. And I would also support hiring a new economic development director to replace Ben Cares. I would also support establishing the business improvement district that would not only allow small businesses in the downtown to work together, but it would give them a seat at the table to work directly with the town. Thank you.
All right, thank you. For our final question of the evening, we're actually going to go off script a little bit here.
Okay.
We will direct it to Tara first. What are 3 things you love about Reading?
Good question. All right. I love how walkable our downtown is. I will usually walk between 8 and 10 miles a week with my dogs. I love the green spaces that we have, the town forest, and I love the small businesses that we have. I love being able to just walk up the street with my family and being able to show them different restaurants, and being able to just bring my dogs with me to visit downtown as well.
All right, terrific, thank you. Melissa, what are 3 things you love about Reading?
Well, my 2 top things would be eating and shopping. We have some phenomenal restaurants in town and great little boutique-y shops, so my girls love that. And we like to frequent all the small businesses. Third, I think, I love having the opportunity for the town forest with the dogs. I mean, that's huge. We don't always get to take them. They like it a lot with their dog walker, but it is a nice option, and we've taken the kids in there, especially when it's, beautiful weather and quieter spring sports season.
Right.
Those would probably be my top 3 things as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to conclude our evening with your closing statements. We are going to use the same order that you did your opening statements in. So Tara will go first with your closing statement. Tara, when you're ready.
Thank you. I'd like to once again thank everyone who made this evening possible, and for those of you watching at home. I'd like to thank Melissa Murphy for participating in this forum tonight as well. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to serve Reading and to be a part of the democratic process. Public safety is an integral part of my life, both professionally and personally. As an engineer, I like to understand the full context of the issue, hear from all stakeholders, and look at the root cause of the issue in order to determine the best solution. If elected, I will focus on promoting civility in town affairs and respecting town staff and volunteers, tax relief for residents, including a tax split rate that makes residential and commercial property taxes more in line with neighboring towns, enhancing pedestrian infrastructure with safe walking and bicycle paths to connect our neighborhoods to the downtown and support our local small businesses, exploring all options for the MBTA community's rezoning, and using a mix of small multifamily homes and mixed-use business and residential buildings to comply with the state law, and providing accessibility to residents to ensure everyone has equitable access to town resources. I believe effective leaders must be willing to listen and learn and respect others' opinions. Reading will benefit from well-informed and collaborative decisions. I would appreciate your vote on May 14th. Please be sure to mark your calendar and tell your neighbors to vote. Please visit my website, www.terra4selectboard.com. Again, www.terra4selectboard.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Melissa, your closing statement.
Yes. I'd also like to thank RCTV, Kevin, Tara, and the Reading residents who are watching tonight. Why am I running for the select board? My motivation was simple. I wanted to make a positive change and progress in our community. I know I can add significant value to the big decisions coming up this year and in the future. I am confident that my tenure as an elected town meeting member, my previous legal work experience, my 16 years as an engaged Reading resident, and my role as a Reading parent have all equipped me to be a valuable and constructive Select Board member. These experiences have honed my skills in active listening, in-depth research, and clear communication on issues. We need to ensure that Reading remains fiscally responsible. Reading faces 2 large, essential projects that will most likely require debt exclusions. As a Select Board member, I strive to ensure that our town controls the pace, scope, and timing of other initiatives and projects, not to overburden our residents with tax increases. We need to ensure that all Reading residents are informed of the options and impacts of our decisions. As a Select Board member, I will help mitigate the sometimes unfavorable effects of state laws such as MBTA communities and tiered water rates. Select Board members are elected to represent the residents of our town, and we need to remember to hear their input. I'm passionate about working towards a better future for all of our community members, from our children to our seniors. I'm dedicated to listening to and addressing our residents' concerns and representing our town's needs. I'm excited and energized to meet even more community members. In conclusion, I am open to challenging discussions and tackling issues head-on to achieve the best outcome from our town. I will always maintain an open line of communication with our residents and encourage you to contact me, even on my cell phone at 617-797-7137, with any questions or concerns. My website is melissaforreading.com. I encourage you all to vote at the Fieldhouse on Tuesday, May 14th, and I hope I can earn your vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank you all for watching this Select Board Candidates Forum this evening. I'd like to thank our 2 candidates, Tara Gregory and Melissa Murphy, for your candid and honest responses to the questions. And I'd like to thank you both for throwing your hats in the ring and being willing to fill this role for this year and possibly into the future. I'd also like to thank RCTV for sponsoring this forum. I'd like to thank the volunteers and staff at RCTV for their excellent work in putting this all together. And I'd like to really encourage every person who's out there who's watching to make sure you get out to the Hawks Field House on May 14th, Tuesday, May 14th, and vote for the candidate you think will be the best person to represent Reading at this point in time. My name is Kevin Vent, and I trust you have a great day.
Thank you.